Legal perspective then on the developments around President Cyril Ramaphosa. We're joined via Zoom by legal analyst Sinawo Makangela to weigh in. A very good afternoon to you. Always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Zisflo, for having me. Good afternoon to all the viewers.
You're most welcome. All right. Of course, we have been hearing that the president would want to have the Section 89 report, under legal review. Surely the president would first have to wait to see what Parliament MPs think about this particular report. But say they do indeed vote to adopt those resolutions in that report. What exactly does the president have as his armourer ammunition moving forward from that stage? Is the next best thing to hold this on review?
Well, thanks, Flo. As things stand, these are recommendations. Clearly in the report, there is some where the panelists made it clear that this report is not binding, subject to the parliament, whether they accept or it does not accept it. So remember, if you talk about review, you must be talking about a decision that has got some external legal effect. As things stand, it remains recommendations. It will be subjected to parliament. But remember, even parliament, taking from the EFF judgment about its role to hold the president accountable, members of parliament cannot just go there and vote. They will have to interrogate, because remember, this is called an expert report. So these are people with expertise in the field. They cannot just turn a blind eye on the information provided to them.
Yeah. So
whatever flaws that they will have to be attended to, they will have to be attacked in a platform that would have been created. Because I assume from this stage, if really the impeachment committee is established, then the legal team of the president will have to come in there and present the shortcomings of that particular committee. Then if the committee insists in going forward, and then the president will then challenge that, or will indicate that they will challenge should a decision taken that will adversely affect his own rights.
Could these processes run parallel to each other? I'm talking about the process of impeachment. Should the parliamentarians vote to adopt the report, and the president, of course, challenging that particular report, are we talking about processes that can actually run at parallel to each other? I know you're saying one is not necessarily a legal process, but certainly the issue of impeachment is one that would entail, legal issues and legal analysis.
There'll always be a question. When you take a matter, remember the court will tell you that we're not an advisory panel for any citizen. Yes, there is an impeachment committee. There are impeachment proceedings that are taking place. So what? He says, well, I feel like my rights will be violated because the process that led up to that, there were certain flaws and all those things. The court will say, go and tell them. Why don't you trust that panel? Go and tell the chairperson of that particular committee there. Only then, when a decision that adversely affects his rights, remember, it's still an inquiry, because they want to find some facts out of all the information, so that once a moment comes where a decision will be taken. Remember, we can just make reference to the public protector report, where he talked about Mr. Brian Molefe being found at Sex in World. But there was a recommendation that they say, please investigate further. He could not take the report on review because still other investigative processes had to unfold so that he awaits a decision. The Zondo Commission report came up with some recommendations as well. That's why nobody has taken that report on review, because there is no decision yet about any person, but they know that they're implicated. So this is not different.
Yeah. It does seem, though, that the road to impeachment would be, quite a long road. I mean, we've seen that playing out in the U.S. with their former president, Donald Trump. But let's talk about what, impeachment is. I think it's been so easy for people to kind of just throw the word around. What exactly does impeachment mean? We know, for example, some of the examples that have been given is that, if you're impeached, you lose, all benefits that would have been accrued to you even after, you'd served in that particular position. So it's not something that, a person in a high position like the president would want to in fact happen to him. But let's talk about what impeachment actually is.
Actually, there are safeguards even there, because otherwise we'd be having every new president for every month. So there are safeguards. It must not be easy to remove the president. It must not be easy to impeach the president, because when you impeach, you say this person must lose all the benefits associated with the office, regardless of the sacrifices and the compromises they've undertaken during their tenure of office. So the test is a bit higher. That is why even the Constitution says, firstly, there has to be this panel that, remember, this is just a newly established process. The rules were just adopted recently by Parliament. Now the panel has been established. From this stage, it reports back to Parliament, because this committee is an extension of Parliament. And then Parliament says, yes, there is something on our table upon which we can establish an impeachment committee, a committee which is like any other parliamentary committee. That committee must undertake its work. That's where now you will see the proceedings in motion, cross-examination, leading off evidence in chief, all the witnesses, because now you must deal with those two grounds actually, because there are 3 grounds of removing the president: serious misconduct, violation of the constitution or the law, and the serious misconduct or the inability to perform his functions. Yeah. So this has nothing to do with the inability. It's about the 2 grounds. Now, once that is established, even the committee, if it may come back and say, yes, from our impeachment proceedings, we have established sufficient evidence, enough evidence that indeed the president has violated the constitution, has violated the law, has committed a serious misconduct. Now, where does it go? It goes back to Parliament. Now it says you need about 2/3 majority. You don't need simple majority, 2/3 majority.
Yeah. All right.
For you. Yeah. Pass the motion.
All right, Sinawo, out of time, unfortunately. We'll certainly be needing more of your legal analysis. I hope you're not going away this December. Always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you, sir, for your legal analysis.
Thank me.
All right, that is Sinawo Makangela, who is a legal analyst. They're speaking to us and weighing in around the Section 89 report, and certainly Parliament to vote on whether to adopt it or not. That happens tomorrow.